From Benedetti Worley Stadium on the campus of North Central College in Naperville, it's time for the IHSA Girls Soccer 1A State Championship. The Pioneers from Normal U High taking on the Lady Raiders from Quincy, Notre Dame. We welcome you to Benedetti Worley Stadium. I'm Nathan Blevo alongside Tom Pryor. And Tom, we've got a much anticipated matchup. It's a rematch from a game a month ago. Two high-powered offenses in Quincy, Notre Dame and Normal U High here today.
Quincy, Notre Dame had the advantage in the game they played a month ago, but two teams who are very good but do it in different ways. Quincy Notre Dame's offense powers all the time. U High, a very good defense that tries to kick it up to Lafayette and have her score the goals. So two different styles, but two very good teams.
Let's take a look at the bracket and how they got here. Normal U High got 3 goals from Sarah Lafayette to win the semifinal over Johnsburg yesterday. And Quincy Notre Dame scored a state record 9 goals in the second semifinal Friday night to knock off IC Catholic out of Elmhurst. Those two teams in the third place game just went to a shootout, with Johnsburg claiming that third place trophy. Now we take a look at our key players to watch for Quincy Notre Dame. They've got a lot of options, but we're going to key on Olivia Dreyer, who had a pair of goals and assists in the semi.
4 points in the semi. She shoots well, but what separates her from the other midfielders in the state is her field awareness and vision, being able to pass the ball and lead forwards as they're attacking toward the net.
For U High, you already mentioned Sarah Lafayette. She's going to Illinois State. She's got 66 goals on the season.
She's unbelievable. Probably the best forward in Class 1A in the state, and she does it because she has such good ball control. When the ball finds her foot, she can easily go one-on-one, two-on-one, and she receives it so well. If she's inside the 18 and the ball's at her foot, Quincy Notre Dame better throw a lot of defense at her because she can rip it from anywhere.
QND has not lost to a team from Illinois all season. We'll see if U High will be the first to beat them. The state championship coming up for North Central College after this on CSN Chicago.
The IHSA is achievement, focus, creativity, spirit, champions. The future plays here, the Illinois High School Association.
They say we live in an age of big data, where computers and fancy algorithms are supposed to know you best. But at Country Financial, we know helping you own your future requires, well, something much bigger. Contact your local Country Financial representative and start planning for your future with a personal touch.
As the players and coaches shake hands and wish each other good luck in midfield, the IHSA Board of Directors and member schools expect and promote good sportsmanship from all athletes, coaches, students, parents, and spectators. We request your cooperation by supporting the participants and officials in a positive manner. Do what's right. Thank you. Good afternoon and welcome to the IHSA Girls 1A State Soccer Championship here on the campus of North Central College and Benedetti Worley Stadium. The officials for this match will be in the middle, Mr. Mike like this. Assistant referee, Mr. Paul Marconi. Assistant referee, Mr. Mario Castillo. And the fourth official, Mr. David Hallbrook. Now let's meet the teams for this championship game. For the visiting team, the Lady Raiders of Quincy, Notre Dame, who enter the match with a record of 23 wins, 1 loss, and 1 tie. please meet Coach Mark Lungo, who has a career record of 505 wins, 90 losses, and 66 ties for a career of 28 years. For the home team, the Pioneers of U-High, who went to the match with a record of 15 wins, 9 losses, and 1 tie. Please meet Coach Haley Sefton, who has a career record of 138 wins, 66 losses, and 22 ties for a career of 10 years. Now let's meet the starting players. First for the visiting Lady Raiders of Quincy, Notre Dame. In goal, sophomore, number 0, Delaney Walker. A freshman, number 1, Maddie Peters. A senior forward, number 2, Mackenzie Foley. A sophomore forward, number 5, Madison Lynn Meyer. A freshman defender, number 8, Taylor Keck. A junior, number 9, Olivia Dreyer. A senior defender, number 11, Lucy Stella. A freshman defender, number 16, Maddie Dickerman. A sophomore midfielder, number 17, Anna Stokes. A sophomore midfielder, number 19, Erin Barnes. And a junior defender, number 22, Molly Penn. Now let's meet the starting lineup for the home team, the Pioneers of U-High. In goal, freshman, number 00, Sophie Dorgan. A senior defender, number 0, Sydney Lightley. A junior forward, number 1, Cassidy Trocino. A midfielder, junior number 2, Elise Crockett. A sophomore midfielder, number 3, Julia Herman. A senior forward, number 5, Sarah Lafayette. A freshman midfielder, number 9, Alex Eisenreich. A senior defender, number 10, Elena Hollingsworth. A senior midfielder, number 13, Avika Kamatar. A freshman midfielder, number 16, Meredith Heller. And a junior midfielder, number 25, Anna Tooley. There will not be a national anthem. Let's play soccer. Good luck to both teams.
Do it.
Today's IHSA Girls Soccer Championships are brought to you by Country Financial. At Country Financial, we understand that helping you means knowing you. Take charge of owning your future with Country Financial. Call your local rep at 1-866-COUNTRY or visit ownyourfuture.com. Welcome back to North Central College. Nathan Believer and Tom Pryor with you as we get ready for the state championship matchup. The Quincy Notre Dame Lady Raiders are 23-1-1. Their loss and their draw were both the teams from Missouri. They have won 11 in a row. The U-High Pioneers out of Normal are 15-9-1. The majority of those losses are to 2A and 3A schools. Given their conference and their location in Bloomington Normal, they play a lot of much bigger schools. They have losses to Sacred Heart Griffin, Peoria Notre Dame, Rochester, Elgin, and Normal Community. All of those teams making it through to at least the sectional round in 2A or 3A. This season, their last loss was to the Lady Raiders on May 6th, the 4-0 game, Tom, and we'll see both coaches had mentioned they'd made some adjustments to their lineup since that May 6th matchup, and we'll see how that manifests itself here today.
Especially for U-High, that was right before the regional, and after U-High's seniors actually got together on the bus home and said, okay, we need to think about something because this is a team we could play later on in the playoffs. And now that they're here, we'll see if they change up the way they attack, because Quincy Notre Dame held them scoreless 4-0 in that victory. A shutdown defense, too. So maybe changing up the offensive scheme for the Pioneers. Lafayette at the top. She's very good, but she can't do it all on her own. She needs the offensive support, and that's why U-High plays not only her up front, but some offensive midfielders, too, with just dropping back one defensive midfielder and a 3 line in the back.
U-High's in the all-white, the navy and gold for QND with the white shorts, and they go on the attack first. Mr. Michael Litchfoss from nearby Geneva is our middle official. Our linesmen are Mario Castillo from Rolling Meadows. Paul Marconi, former star at Chatham-Glenwood High School, is on the far sideline. And our fourth official is David Holbrook from Elburg. Congratulations to those 4 gentlemen for getting selected to call this 1A state championship match. Quincy Notre Dame has won state titles 3 this decade, 2010, 2012. They went back-to-back in 2013. Normal U-High has not won a state title. They've got a 2nd place finish and a 4th place finish in their history.
Nathan, what stands out for both teams are their goal differential in playoffs. U-High 44-3 and Quincy Notre Dame 35-1. So they don't give up a lot of goals and they just pour it on offensively.
And 2 of those 3 allowed by U-High came last night in the semifinal. They traded goals with Johnsburg. Sarah Lafayette scored. Johnsburg tied it. Second half, Sarah Lafayette scored. Johnsburg tied it, and then Sarah Lafayette scored her 3rd. And we'll keep an eye on her, number 5 in white for Normal U-High. And heading down the other way now is Erin Barnes. She scored 2 in the semi of their 9, but out to grab it is the freshman keeper, Sophie Dorgan. For U-High, Anna Tully, Alina Hollingsworth, and Sydney Leidy form that back row. Adivka Kamatar is number 13. She had a couple assists yesterday in the semi. And then here fighting through, knocked away out of bounds, and that's going to roll to the sidelines. And it'll be a throw in for U-High.
This is the type of game U-High wants to play. They only have 4 defenders in the backfield, but they're now pressuring up. Only one, the sweeper, is on the right side of midfield. And if they want to put the pressure on Quincy Notre Dame, trying to sneak out a goal early going.
Sydney Leidy had such a great game in the semifinal win over Johnsburg, number 0. She was the last line of defense. And the senior had a fantastic game. Here's Erin Barnes down the sideline, cuts it back into the middle of the field, and cleared, but only as far as Stokes, and then knocked back past her. And with it is Julia Herman trying to turn upfield. She wears the captain C along with Sarah Lafayette, who's on the move, and knocked away from her. Lucy Stella has drawn that assignment to start with today. Number 11 in blue is shadowing Sarah Lafayette. Only one player in the history of IHSA girls soccer has scored more goals in a single season than Lafayette, 66, including 3 yesterday. And unfortunately for Lafayette, it's a member of her own school, so she doesn't even have the school record, and the ball is going to fall to her in the box here, fighting her way through. And she couldn't get much on that. It was Ashley Pistorius who scored 74 in a single season for the Pioneers. She played there from 02 through 04, scored 227 career goals. So Lafayette's 3rd on the IHSA career list, and again, doesn't even have her own school record.
It's unbelievable. It speaks to this Pioneer program. They have good soccer in the Bloomington Normal area, a lot of good youth leagues too, so they just feed right into this Pioneer program, and that's why they have so much success.
Head coach Haley Sefton in her 10th year, won 38, 66, and 22. Got 4th place in 2A back in 2012, losing to Chatham Glenwood and Arlington Heights St. Viator. Their boys soccer team won the state championship in the fall. Their head coach, Jeremy Stanton, they beat St. Joe's 3-1 to win the state title. And the girls trying to get the soccer double. Here's Barnes for QND, slides it through, shot, and offsides is the call.
Well, she must have been offsides by about a toe or two, Nathan. That was close. It looked like she was coming from the far side and trying to get ahead just a bit.
Take a look at it, and yeah, about one step is right on that call. And it's up ahead for Lafayette. She controls. She's headed to Illinois State, so doesn't have to go very far to go from normal
No, she
U-High
doesn't. She can walk to the soccer field from there.
Right there. They made the NCAA tournament last fall. I had the pleasure of calling 5 of their games on ESPN3 last year and won an NCAA tournament game before falling to Duke. A coaching change, but a fantastic program for the Redbirds at Illinois State, and this ball is going to roll across the end line for a corner kick for Quincy Notre Dame. Mentioned the normal U-High coach, Haley Sefton. How about Mark Longo on the other side? 28th year. The semifinal win was his 505th career win. Went to state in 2000, 02, and 03, and then won in 3 state titles. Corner kick comes in, knocked around, up to the top of the 18. Shot is gonna go wide right. So this is trip number 7 to state for Coach Longo, who's been there since 1990. 7 wins, 4 losses, and 2 ties in his first season. And they have been over 500 every year since. The closest they came to not being was a 10-7-4 record in 1996.
It's surely impressive, Nathan. He's a graduate from there, too, so I'm sure it's even cooler to step onto the coaching sideline now and have so much success.
A great athletic program. They've had success throughout. We take a look at Coach Longo and his assistants, George McDonald, Jason Keller, trainer Jay Zanger.
They're all QND graduates, too.
Yes, they are. Keep it in the family. Speaking of that, Mackenzie Foley, who had a pair of goals in the semi yesterday, her sisters each won 3 state titles.
It's unbelievable. Unbelievable. Whose team was better? I'm sure that argument goes on often.
Olivia Dreyer's sister played in the 10 title team. Madison K. Meyer's sister on the 13 team. And that's something we've got to be specific with today, Tom, when we talk about the Madison Myers, plural, because there are 2 Madison Myers on Quincy Notre Dame, Madison K. Meyer and Madison Lynn Meyer. Madison Lynn is a starter who scored yesterday. Also had a goal waved off by offsides in the semifinal, and Madison K. Meyer will be one of the first few subs off the bench for QND.
QND has a lot of good reserves, too. You can't have a team this great. They haven't lost a game in Illinois this season to any opponent, and that just shows the depth on their team. It certainly helps when you're ahead 5-6-0, as they have been many times this season, to get that depth in.
Shot comes through, and that'll be grabbed by Sophie Dorgan. Their last loss to an Illinois team came in the 2A tournament last year, or lost to a 2A team, I should say, in Sacred Heart Griffin. Sacred Heart Griffin is still alive in the sectionals this year. They won the 2A sectional. They'll play in the supers. We see Haley Sefton, the head coach for Normal U-High in her 10th year. 2nd trip to state for Coach Sefton. You mentioned the club teams around Normal with the Fusion. A lot of these players on U-High have had success with the Fusion, including Sarah Lafayette. And this one is sent through and will roll across for a goal kick for Sophie Dorgan. They also don't have, at least in the starting lineup, that many seniors that play for U-High, but they do have a 66 and counting goal hole to fill for next year's squad.
And that's always difficult, but when the young players have the experience, especially getting to state, they know what to replicate or emulate when they have a new player come in. And you have to take over forward. You may not be as talented, but you still have to get the job done.
Into the box, Meyer could not get to it. Good job by the freshman, Sophie Dorgan, to come out. 11 shutouts, 4 in the postseason for Dorgan. With over 200 saves this season. And she came out and found that ball.
And that's a staple for a great goalie, too. Sometimes the young goaltenders stay back in the box. They don't want to be the ones that go out and the ball bounce over their head and into the goal. But I love when goaltenders will play the entire 18 and sometimes extend beyond that, be the first to the ball, get it, punt it away. She did a great job coming to the ball and not waiting back.
Take a look at that last slide come through.
Well, the ball was perfectly placed. A great turn, too. Trying to use the left foot. The ball skidding on the turf as expected, so the defender can't catch up, and that's when Dorgan decided she'll take it into her own hands. Came up with a great sliding save.
If she doesn't, Meyer's got a wide open goal, too, if she doesn't get to that. Herman for U-High, looking for the counter. On the left side for QND down the sidelines and out of bounds.
We're still waiting for that prolific attack from the Lady Raiders at this point. They're getting the work into the offense, but they're not connecting on those 3-4 passes that makes this Quincy Notre Dame team stand out. It's when they're connecting in the midfield and playing those balls ahead of the forwards that they're really at the top of their game.
They can be relentless, as I saw firsthand in the semifinal 9-0 win. They got the state record for goals in a game, 1A record for goals in a tournament already, and that's without even scoring in the state championship game, and they get the ball here. They were relentless all night long against IC Catholic. Moving forward down the sideline and losing it out of bounds is Foley. She'll get the throw in and we'll leave it. And now they're gonna switch it up. One official had it as a QND ball and the other had it as U-High, and it will go to U-High.
U-High playing good defense. They're crowding the interior, and that's the focus on defense. Don't give the offense space, because when the offense has space, that generates those passes through the middle and to the space that allows the attacking forwards to attack the ball and then make a shot. So credit to these Pioneer defenders for all backing together, and you see them, they're bunched together, and they're not letting a one-on-one situation happen.
Here is Foley trying to push it through to the box, headed away. Foley wins it back. Now a shot is off to the right. The thing that impressed me the most with U-High in the semifinal game was they held that 18 and they did not give much from open play at all to Johnsburg. First goal Johnsburg scored came off of a corner kick, and then Amber Humphrey scored off a scramble with a powerful shot just inside the post. And then U-High, every time the 2 times they gave up a goal, they just came right back down the field and scored again.
Well, in their super sectional, too, it was a 1-1 tie at intermission, and in halftime is when the Pioneers got all that energy. They met and said, okay, this is what we need to do offensively. They go on to score 3 goals in the second half, and Joliet Catholic in the second half, 1 shot on goal compared to U-High's 10.
And their defense could get tested today. Ball sent forward, collected there on the left side, back into the middle of the field for QND. They play it out left. Shot from distance is well off. That's one thing you can see when you play strong defense and you make it tough for the other team. As they start to get frustrated, those shots will start to come from further and further away. Instead of making passes to try to open up a defense, they'll just try to shoot over it. We'll see what kind of impact they have on QND's offense today, or if they remain patient. Cleared away by U-High all the way back to Maddie Dickerman, the freshman. She loses it. Here comes Lafayette. This is what U-High likes, the counter. Get the ball up to Lafayette. And we'll roll out of bounds for a throw in. She throws it in quickly to Elise Crockett. Crockett sends it in. Cleared away. Notre Dame has not allowed more than 1 goal in a game since April 28th. When they beat Ames, Iowa 4-2 in the Tournament of Champions. In fact, only 4 times all season have they allowed more than one. 2 of those games they won 4-2. They won one 7-2. That was against Hannibal, Missouri, and they beat Quincy Senior 3-2 all the way back in March. So the goals, they have not allowed them. They've scored 132.
The key was that super sectional victory over Columbia. It was a 1-0 game, and they scored in the 44th minute, but then the rest of the time, Columbia's offense was pressing. Columbia hadn't lost it. They had won 12 consecutive games. They were hot. That was, some people were saying that was a state championship game in the super sectional. Columbia, a fantastic team too. But it was QND's defense that was stout the entire game when they were accepting all this pressure. So they're certainly used to pressure, but we'll see if they can handle Lafayette.
They get it into the middle of the field here. Shot is in. It's deflected. Foley chips it back in and will win a corner. Dorgan could not corral that ball cleanly. And now do we have a handball here? Let's take a look at this and see what happened at the end of this play, because that's exactly what we've got.
Well, it was a great step with the right foot and then a great shot, too, but Dorgan just knocks it away. She couldn't do anything else to it, and she tried to get there and knock it in. Good defense, but
you can see the handball jumping in, and we've got a penalty kick here for Olivia Dreyer. We talked about the Open, scored 2 goals in the semi, 23 goals on the year, 26 assists. She takes their free kicks, their corners, and their penalty kicks in a big moment in this match. Just more than 15 minutes in. Penalty kick is in. Right corner. She kept it low and beat Sophie Dorgan 1-0 QND.
She put the ball where the keeper can never get it. That's what you're taught when you're taking a PK. Low, firm into one of the right 90s. She hits the right corner, perfectly placed. Dorgan even guessed relatively to the right side, but you can't stop it when it's placed as well as this was. Unbelievable.
Yeah, she drilled that, no doubt about it. Full of confidence. And 1-0 to QND. With 24:45 to go. In the state title game, they've got the early advantage, and U-High's going to have to try to push forward now. And now we've got a whistle behind play, and let's see what we have here. I believe they hit heads. Foley 2 for QND, and 25 Tully for U-High. And Foley is going to be sent to the bench to get checked out. She was holding her head, and 25 Tully is going to go that way as well. She's being helped off the field right now by a teammate, Cassie Tricino. And with the new focus on head injuries and concussions, the official, Michael Litchfuss, stopping play immediately when he saw those two collide head-to-head, and you can see 2 teammates there helping Tully off of the field. Foley went off a little easier on her own, but Tully's getting helped off by Crockett and Tricino. And they'll have the athletic trainers on the sideline have a look at both of those players as they collided and went head-to-head.
And that's the danger of jumping for those balls, but it's the tenacity from both players to go for it. You understand the risk is there, and again, applause for the IHSA getting it right to send the player off, make sure she's okay before returning.
Neither of these teams traveled much during the playoffs. QND, in fact, didn't leave home until they came to state. They won their regional by a combined 17-1 over Macomb and Springfield Lutheran. They won their own sectional 17-0 over Litchfield and the Pleasant Plains Co-op, and then they, as you mentioned, beat Columbia in their own super. This ball's dropped down, and Dorgan deflects it out of bounds. It'll be a corner kick. Madison Lynn Meyer was right there. U-High beat Peoria Manual 14-0 and Peoria Christian 10-0 to win their own regional. Corner kick swings in, is headed back towards the corner flag, and now we'll go out for another corner. They won their own sectional over the Riverton Co-op 7-0 and Champaign St. Thomas More 6-0, and then Tom, as you mentioned earlier, they went to Illinois Valley Community College in Oglesby. They were tied 1-1 with Joliet Catholic at half before scoring all 3 second-half goals to win 4-1.
And that's the key. We mentioned that the halftime is when they turned it on. Well, they hadn't had a close game up until then in postseason. So it's good when you're tested in one of those super sectionals, because when you get to state, other than Quincy Notre Dame's semifinal game, they're all going to be close games, competitive, and you have to be playing just as hard at the 70th minute as the first, and U-High's done that. They're battle-tested.
The only 1A team they lost to all year was this U-High team. 4-0 back on May 6th. This corner's deflected out. It'll be another one. They lost to Sacred Heart Griffin, who's in the 2A Supers. Peoria Notre Dame's in the 2A Supers. Normal Community, and just lost in the 2A sectional final. Rochester, back-to-back defending state champions, lost in the 2A sectionals. Lake Zurich and Elgin are 3A. Wheaton Academy won 1A last year, moved up to 2A. Another long corner is going to go all the way through. And then they tied Normal West, which is a 3A school as well. So they play that tough schedule both in the Corn Belt and in the inner-city tournament, where they play Bloomington, Normal West, Normal Community, and Bloomington Central Catholic. And 3 of those 4 are 2A and 3A schools. So both teams extremely battle-tested on the year. And here's a foul that'll give a free kick to U-High.
I played in that inner-city tournament back in high school, and I loved it because it was at the beginning of the season. So when these teams are squaring off against each other, they're relatively new and unseen. So when you're a team going up against a lot bigger school and you're doing it early on, it just teaches you this is the type of soccer we want to work at the 1A level. And that, again, translates into the success that the Pioneers have had.
21:35 to go in the first half. 1-0 QND. You're watching the 1A Class State title game on CSN Chicago.
They say we live in an age of big data, where computers and fancy algorithms are supposed to know you best. But at Country Financial, we know helping you own your future requires, well, something much bigger. Contact your local Country Financial representative and start planning for your future with a personal touch.
From the gridiron to the hardwood, on the links or on the track, on the diamond or on the ice. Go to prepfilms.com. It's easy. You can order your DVD online. At prepfilms.com, you make the memories. We'll make them last forever.
Welcome back to Benedetti Worley Stadium on the campus of North Central College. QND with a 1-0 lead over Normal U-High here in the first half, and a handball called against QND there. We'll give U-High a free kick. See if they can clear the ball out of trouble. U-High's had really just one chance in this match so far. They got the ball onto the foot of their goal scorer, Sarah Lafayette, in the box. She was double teamed and could not get much on it as she tried to flick it on goal. Now breaking the other way, Maddie Peters sends it into the corner, and that's going to roll out of bounds. It'll be a throw-in for U-High.
Other than that pass there, the connections were fantastic on that possession. Just keep passing it to the foot. Different players all the way to the left side, and that's why U-High hasn't had many opportunities, because the Lady Raiders just don't make many mistakes like you see there. When they do, the Pioneers have to attack.
Here they come. Lafayette sprinting into the box. She'll get a shot on goal, and it is in! Off the hands of Delaney Walker and in, and that's all it takes for U-High to get even. They get one chance. They score on that one chance. Sarah Lafayette, 67th goal of the year. That's now single-handedly second most in a single season in IHSA girls soccer history.
It all started with the quick turnover, and when that occurs, Lafayette knows exactly where to be, and she just got to the ball. She outruns everyone and places a firm ball at the top of the net, too. Deflected well, by the way, by Walker, but just falls into the net. A great shot by Lafayette.
This is the second goal QND has allowed since April 28th. They gave up one in the regional final win over Springfield Lutheran, an 8-1 win. And it's 1-1 halfway through the first half, and what an answer from U-High.
That's where they make a living. They've done it all season. Get the ball to the forwards and let Lafayette do her thing. No matter how much you can put 2 players on her, but eventually if the ball's at her foot, she'll find a way to the net. And as soon as she got inside the 18, she let it rip.
She's so fast with the ball. You could see it there. As soon as she saw space, there was an extra gear. Very athletic family. Her brother JD runs track and cross country at Illinois State. Sister Ashley runs track and field at Lewis University. And here's a foul that she draws about 25 yards from goal, and that'll give U-High a free kick in a dangerous position here.
Free kick coming up for the Pioneers.
If she places it back post, there's 3 Pioneers ready to attack. That'll be their best shot. QND not putting any defenders on the post too, so that just opens up the goal from horizontally side to side.
This is in. She got a head to it, did Lafayette. Now it's a scramble, and that'll be a foul against U-High. You can get a little bit of contact on a goalie, but not that much. Off the deflection here, we'll see it. Especially by Herman, and she kind of runs her over off of this first deflection.
And then she comes down to it. Oh,
right there. It wasn't even Lafayette. It was her teammate coming in on the far sideline. Couldn't see a number there, who just ran over a Delaney Walker at the end of that play.
Quincy Notre Dame swarming Lafayette, and for good reason. The Pioneers coming into the tournament hadn't had any other player score more than 8 goals, although 3 are in double-digit assists, and that's all coming to Lafayette.
Ooh, a dangerous clear right there.
This is the first time we've seen QND have to rely on that defense, and they're getting backed up without pushing forward. There's no ball control. It's just a simple clear and trying to kick it as far away. And the problem with that is that U-High focuses so much on ball possession that when you do something like that, they just get the ball back and can possess it. QND needs to get the ball out of their deep zone, but do it by passing the ball, not just booting it out.
You can see it's visible, the jolt of confidence that U-High picked up when Lafayette scored, and now they are seeing more of the ball here over the last 5 minutes since that goal. Lafayette flicks it about 15 yards over her head, but no teammates there. And they'll win a throw-in. But you can see this, the rest of her teammates really picked it up. She got that goal to draw this even. It was kind of a, hey, we can score against these guys after losing 4-0 back on May the 6th.
And you know that they tried to come up with a scheme for this Quincy Notre Dame defense, too. They understand, okay, yes, they won 9-0 in the semifinal, and they've been great defensively throughout the postseason, but we have to find ways to pass the ball and get it to Lafayette, whether that's mistakes from QND, like we saw in that first goal, or trying to move the ball around like they're doing here. And the good thing about U-High attacking is that's limiting the Quincy Notre Dame attack, because some of those offensive midfielders are sliding back into the defensive side, and they're not used to doing that.
Madison Kmeyer subbed in for the first time for QND, and Aaron Barnes in as well. And a foul against U-High will set up a free kick, which Olivia Dreyer will take. And that took a big bounce on this turf and went over the head of the intended target. Middle of the field. Here's Barnes. Slides a pass through. Foley got a foot to it. Now going forward is Hannah Peters into the box for Foley. Foley will turn, and it's out of bounds. That's about the same spot where Foley won the penalty kick early in the first half by sending a cross back in the hand of a Pioneer player. This time she let it roll out of bounds to win the corner kick. U-High gave up a goal on a corner kick yesterday. QND's had a handful of them so far today, and Dreyer will set this up to swing it in with the right foot. And that is over. Foley had a good look at it, just couldn't direct it down. She had an open net. If we take a look at it here, Tom, she had a chance to put QND back on top.
She did. She just has to get the forehead down. Now, it's a high ball, and she doesn't get under it. Now, see, she's jumping up to hit the ball. That means the ball will go over. She needs to be up ahead of it and get the forehead with a downward angle to put it into the back of the net. But that's what you hope for, is just get a ball on ahead, and hopefully it goes in.
Cleared the goalpost and the football goalpost both.
It did.
Sent forward, looking for Foley on the far right side. And U-High will let this roll out of bounds for a throw-in.
Something to take note of, too, Nathan, is this turf field. So Quincy Notre Dame always had trouble playing on it, but they installed a turf field in 2014 that they both practice and play on. And Coach Longo said it makes such a difference because the ball rolls so much faster, and it makes those true bounces. It doesn't hit a clunk of dirt and go in a different direction, and that's what's parlayed into this great team and great run for Quincy Notre Dame. They're above 500 team every year because they know how to play on turf. So when they get here, it's not any big deal.
Seen a lot of teams do that the last handful of years, install the field turf. Makes a big difference. I know, at least when I was playing back in the mid-90s, we were always playing on the football field. So if it was a Saturday morning game after a Friday night football game, that field could be all sorts of torn up, and you'd get some very strange bounces as Foley puts it in on goal, deflected, and in! QND's got the lead back. That took a wicked deflection just inside the box, and QND's on top 2-1. They got the lead back with 13:50 to go, and put it in on goal, and that took a deflection. I think that was Lauren Dubrovic that it hit.
The captain just putting a shot on, and sometimes you get the deflection and it works in your favor. The more shots, the merrier. If you can put it on frame, eventually some are bound to go in. She did just that, and she had such great awareness, too, to just deflect it off.
We've got an injured goalie as well for U-High. Sophie Dorgan, the freshman, is down in their goal. They do not list a backup goalkeeper on their roster. So we'll see what they do. We actually saw the third place game today with the penalty kicks. Johnsburg took one of their midfielders, Shea Giovanni, and put her in goal for the penalty kick shootout. She saved 2.
And she caught both of them, I believe,
too. She caught them
too.
both. She did. They replaced their regular starting goalie who had played the entire 80 minutes, Jessica Stroljak, who has been their goalie all season and only allowed 18 goals before this Final Four in the year. But Giovanni is clearly their shootout specialist. And Coach Eastland put her in goal in the shootout. She saved 2, and they take third place after IC Catholic tied that game with 8.9 seconds left. And Tessa Langen, we had an exciting third place game. And now through 46 minutes of the state title game, we're in the same spot. 3 goals, a 2-1 lead. You're watching the 1A Class State title game on CSN Chicago.
The IHSA is achievement, focus, creativity, spirit, champions. The future plays here, the Illinois High School Association.
We do see Julia Herman, who is one of their center midfielders on offense, now is the backup goalie, number 3. So she is in goal, and Dorgan is sitting on the bench being looked at. Right hand injury. She hit her hand on the post when she dove to try to save that shot, and they're now calling Herman back over to the bench.
I believe it's probably because of the jersey. I had a problem with that as soon as she ran onto the field. I think gray is too close to white.
Well, she just put on a gray T-shirt. It wasn't even a jersey. She just put on a normal U-High gray T-shirt. So they are finding her another jersey. You know what they did when Giovanni is mentioning that third place game, when she went into goal, she just took the goalie's jersey and gave the goalie her number 7. I wonder if they could do that here and just give have Dorgan take off that jersey and give it to Herman.
That helps the officials, but more importantly, I would think from a defensive standpoint, if you're U-High, I want my goalie to be a totally different color so I know who I'm passing to. I know who to look for.
She's got a gold shirt now. A teammate helped out there. Credit to number 18, Ella Gordon, a junior, who went to the bag and pulled out a gold T-shirt instead of the gray one because, as Tom mentioned, it was too close, so they're home whites. And now, after a couple minutes of an injury delay, we're ready for the kickoff off the goal by Mackenzie Foley. Deflected in and made it 2-1 for QND. And now they push forward through Kamatar. Pushing forward.
And that was good ball possession by the Pioneers, trying to work both sides of the field, but they got too combobulated in the middle of the field. The two outside forwards didn't stay to the outside, and there were no supporting midfielders on the outside that forced the ball to be back out of bounds. Spread out a bit and try to work the ball around.
So pushing forward again is QND. Again, it's just sent out of bounds and a throw in coming up.
Quincy Notre Dame doesn't sit back on their heels at defense. That's what I love about this team. They're such an aggressor that they want to keep scoring. So as soon as they get the ball, they'll push.
Lafayette from distance, well left on that ground ball.
Number 23, Meredith Siebers.
Meredith Siebers is in for Notre Dame.
She'll step to the right side midfield. She's good at that position, and sometimes people talk about the center mids getting the most work of any player because you're constantly doing attacking and defending, but the outsides, they have a lot of work because they're covering the defense if ever they need to run inside the box to help out, but then they're also supposed to attack from the outside, so they run the most of any player. So it's good to see those rotations coming in. Try to freshen this Lady Raider team.
That was Advika Kamatar yesterday for U-High, number 13, just running up and down, chasing a couple of different Johnsburg attackers, but then also giving service. She had assists on 2 of Lafayette's goals. And then this player, Cassie Tricino, number 1, ran all over the place in the midfield yesterday against, as I mentioned earlier, Johnsburg's Shea Giovanni. They had a 4-3-3 formation, did Johnsburg, and all 3 players we saw in this tournament score, and UI had their hands full there yesterday and prevailed 3-2, and they've got their hands full here today, down 2-1 with 11.5 minutes to go in the first half of the 1A Class State Championship. Throw in. For U-High. And a foul against QND.
U-High's played a good game defensively other than that handball and then the deflection. Their defense hasn't really given up that wide open goal of a defensive collapse. They've done a great job, and now they need to push the ball forward. Quincy Notre Dame, on the other hand, all about ball control for them. Those long passes there, that's not going to get it done. It's passing around the midfield, and they've done a good job when they're attacking.
Meyer trying to get it through, holds on to it, gets it back. Foley's on the left, couldn't get it to her, and it's cleared back out near midfield. But Kamatar cannot win the race to the ball. Yeah, really, just 2 unlucky deflections, one off a hand and one off a head that led to those 2 goals. And then Lafayette got the break for U-High. And that'll go out of bounds. It'll be a QND throw-in. But credit the Lady Raiders. They created that luck by forcing the action, especially on the second shot that took the deflection off the head of Dubrovic and went past Dorgan. Sent over now looking for Foley, couldn't get it all the way through. Shot from distance is too high. And waiting to kind of see how QND will test Julia Herman, who's in goal from her forward midfield position.
The Pioneers have
a backup goalie.
They have a lot of talent on their bench too, but when you take Herman out of that forward midfield position, that hurts the team a bit when they're working in the midfield. So we'll see if that affects their offensive prowess.
She's got 8 goals and 14 assists on the year. She takes their corner kicks and their free kicks, so that's another spot where they'll have to make an adjustment if and when they win some corner kicks and free kicks. Sophie Dorgan sitting on the bench right now with the bag of ice on her right hand. The hand hit the post as she dove for the shot that was deflected. She was going one way when Foley took the shot, then it hit off of her defender in front of her and went into the right corner, the left corner, excuse me. She hit her hand on the post while diving. And it's now been out for the last 5 minutes. You can see her there in the blue, the 00, and the bag of ice completely wrapped around her right wrist.
Nathan, you hate to see that too, and you're so excited as a player to play in that state championship game, and then to have an injury like that. You hope she's okay, and maybe we'll see her later in the game.
Long throw in into the middle of the box, shouts for handball. Dreyer, the top of the 18, has it cleared away, out, and that's going to bounce near midfield. Lafayette gets it there. Fighting with Barnes. Kamitar to Lafayette on her left foot. And then she shoves a player to the ground. That is 14, Madison K. Meyer. Got in the way, and Lafayette just gave her a little bit of shove to the ground.
Yes, she did. And that's actually great defense, too. You can kind of shield the ball in a sense, and if the offensive player runs you over because of it, then it's a foul against them. That's exactly what happened.
Ball bouncing through towards the sideline, and McKenna Little was battling for it, wins the throw in. Barnes was going to take it, and then she's called off. And over to take the throw in is Meredith Siebers with the long throw towards the box. And that rolls all the way through. Dreyer and headed, and a save is made. Dreyer got ahead to it, and that's the first save we've seen Julia Herman make as the backup goalie.
Now that she's tested, I'm sure confidence has grown. But what I love from the Lady Raiders is that they'll use both sides of the field. They're not just tacking down the middle. They're trying to play to the right side, the left side, and then play the crosses in. Because when that happens, all of a sudden it opens the field up for deflections off of players that can go in the goal. They don't play straight up and down. They like to move the ball horizontally too.
Lafayette was battling for the ball here, and it will be won by U-High. Kamitar. And a whistle and a handball.
Kamitar actually says there's no question that this is the closest Pioneer team in terms of chemistry and team unity. And that sets this Pioneer team apart too, because it's not just about a single player, it's about a unit working together. They each have each other's back.
Just a throw in instead of a handball call, and Foley couldn't keep it inbounds. It'll be a goal kick and another sub coming in for the Lady Raiders. 6 minutes to go in the opening half, 2-1 QND.
The Pioneers, not much offense, but they'll take that 2-1 disadvantage at this point because they've played a strong game defensively other than a couple just odd deflections. And offensively, there's room to grow. They've had a couple chances when they've had that extra pass just deflect off or go out of bounds. They just need to move that ball back toward the forwards and see what happens.
To the sideline and out of bounds. It's been 4 years since QND won a title. Coach Longo has won 3. Tied with Jim Burnside in 3A. Winnetka and Notre, they're still alive. And 3A is the defending state champions. Joe Moreau of St. Charles won 5 from 96 to 2000. In fact, he won 5 in a row.
Nathan, to talk about the rarity of playing in a state championship game, it's so rare that there's always some luck that every coach will tell you throughout the postseason, because Coach Longo, all of his records, I mean, if you go back for the past 20 years, there's so many teams that only have 3-4 losses without even placing at state. So it's just when that loss comes at the wrong time in the season. So it's cool that both of these teams are here in the state championship, because you could have great teams in the future but never get back to this point.
First coach in IHSA history to get his 500th career win. That came in the regionals, now at 505. Good news for U-High. Sophie Dorgan has moved off the bench and is going through a bag behind the bench, and hopefully that means that she will be able to come back into the ball game as their starting goalie as this ball rolls out of bounds and will be a throw-in. You see there, she's getting some gloves on, see if she can play. Be ready for the second half, possibly. QND wants to add a goal before then. Here is Foley. Top of the 18. Sent back in by Dreyer and well high. That's going to roll all the way back to the track.
Foley has a good left foot. To be honest, I'm surprised she didn't strike it with her left. She was sitting on it a little bit, dancing. Such great ball control and trying to sneak it through to right to the other attacking forward before she just placed it back. But she's so good with the ball at her feet. She can do so much.
Dreyer battling for the ball against Tricino. It knocked away. Tricino still has it. Sends it out wide to Kamatar. Middle of the field to Lafayette, where she's double teamed. Madison Kmeyer chasing her at the moment. Flicks it back to Tricino. Tricino well out wide right here. Sends it for Kamatar over her head. Lafayette running for it. Used the shoulder to try to get free, but Madison Kmeyer got to the ball first and knocked it out of bounds. Lafayette throws it in towards the corner, knocked out of bounds again. She'll get another throw in. Tricino sends it in. And Walker calls for it, makes the catch.
No scare there either. Trying to put the ball in the middle of the box, but just didn't get a firm hit on it. Sometimes it can hit off the shin guard and then go to the near side.
Dreyer looking for the left side. They try to work it over there with Barnes, and it rolls out.
The Pioneer defenders are so good at stepping up on these attackers as well, not giving them space to run and space to move, and that's why they've been so good at knocking the ball out of bounds.
Throw in coming up.
13, Morgan Evans.
Two subs in towards the top, sent into the box and cleared out by U-High. Kamatar wins it. Tries to send it forward, but could not clear that next line of defense. Here's Siebers. QND moving with the ball. Passes deflected away. And U-High gets it up that far sideline now. Looking to get it to Lafayette in the middle. They couldn't. They do win a throw in. And now throw it up the sidelines towards Lafayette, and that's right back out of bounds. 1 minute to go in the first half of play. Throw in for Lafayette. Got position there and sent it into the middle. And back now. Lafayette to Kamatar. Kamatar middle of the field. Deflected through. They'll get a shot attempt, and Walker comes out to grab it. Great job by Delaney Walker to beat Meredith Heller to that ball in the middle of the 18. 30 seconds left in the half as that ball rolls out of bounds on the far sideline. Back into the box. Walker will come out and grab it. Oh, we've got a foul call. And they'll get a free kick set up here. Trying to take it, and the clock's going to get stopped right there, and we're going to get a yellow card. A yellow card against QND. That is on 13. Morgan Evans, she stepped up to make sure they couldn't get the free kick off with 1.7 seconds left and was issued a yellow card. Lafayette and Eisenreich are there on the free kick.
Card has been issued to Notre Dame Lady Raider number 13, Morgan
And he
Evans.
stopped the clock at 1.7. There's a wall of 7 right now.
At 39:58 of the game.
He's going to move that wall back. And Barnes is going to come join the end of the wall. There's now 10 in the wall. Kick for Lafayette, chips it over the wall and over the crossbar, and that'll end the half. 2-1 for the lead. And they had a great opportunity there to get the even with their goal scorer, Lafayette, standing over that free kick with the yellow card handed out for delaying the restart, but she could not get it in as the free kick went right over the top of the crossbar. Quincy Notre Dame with the 2-1 halftime lead. We will go to break, back with halftime stats and a recap after this. You're watching IHSA Girls 1A Soccer on CSN Chicago.
The IHSA is motivation, effort, innovation, emotion, community. The future plays here, the Illinois High School Association.
Welcome back to North Central College as we have halftime girls soccer 1A state title game. Quincy Notre Dame with the 2-1 lead at halftime. They got the first goal on a penalty kick from Olivia Dreyer after a handball in the box on U-High with 15:15 gone. U-High tied it. Sarah Lafayette with her 67th goal of the year unassisted at 19:42 on the counterattack, got it even. And then Mackenzie Foley shot, took a deflection at the top of the 18 and went past the keeper Sophie Dorgan to give QND a 2-1 lead at 26:10 in the first half. Dorgan was injured. She's not come back yet. We'll see if she does for the second half. Let's take a look at stats from the first half. Shots on goal is led by QND, 5 to U-High's 1. So U-High did score on their only shot on goal, but shots on goal 5-1 for QND. Total shots 10-3 for Quincy Notre Dame with the lead in that category. Fouls, QND with 5 of those. U-High has committed 4 fouls thus far. 1 yellow card in the first half. It came on QND right there at the end of the half on number 13, Morgan Evans. So halftime here at North Central College. QND with the 2-1 lead. We'll be back and ready to go with the second half of the state championship game in Class 1A on CSN Chicago.
From the gridiron to the hardwood, on the links or on the track, on the diamond or on the ice. Go to prepfilms.com. It's easy. You can order your DVD online. At prepfilms.com, you make the memories. We'll make them last forever.
Welcome back as we start the second half. Nathan Believa and Tom Pryor with you. 2-1 Quincy Notre Dame with the lead over Normal U-High as we get ready for the second half kickoff, which will be for Normal U-High. And Tom, you had a chance off camera there at halftime to talk with both coaches. What changes do you expect coming up here in the second half?
Well, U-High's not going to change a lot. Essentially, they're going to play the same game because it worked well for them in the first half. They're only down by a goal, a couple of deflections here. They're different, and they're winning. Quincy Notre Dame, on the other hand, Coach Longo said, I'm going to have a pretty stern talk with him at halftime. We're not playing our soccer. I expect a lot better in the second half. Now, what that means is likely better defense and more of a push on the offensive side. He said we were lacking in both of those areas, but a change, at least for Quincy Notre Dame, be more aggressive. U-High just keep keep playing as they are and see if you can score.
Lucy Stella is back marking Sarah Lafayette, who gets the ball for the first time in the second half and moves it forward. And this one is going to see it sent back, but not too far for QND, out of bounds for a throw-in. Here now is ball sent forward and will bounce all the way through to Walker. Minute gone by here in the second half, and Walker will punt this near midfield. Brought down nicely by QND, but then they couldn't get anything going with it. Was Taylor Keck. Now it's forward to Lafayette, who turns, sent back in. Their goalie did not come back, Sophie Dorgan. Ball sent into Walker. So they still have Julia Herman, who's an attacking midfielder, in goal. Dorgan is back on the bench and has that ice pack back on her right hand. We saw her for a couple minutes there at the end of the half where she had the ice bag off, was trying to put the gloves back on, and it looked like she might be able to come back in, but not the case. She's got the ice pack back on her hand again.
And with the case of this being a state championship game, she's probably thinking, I can push it, and kind of work through it, but it must be so painful that it's just a knock on the team, essentially. If you're in goal and you're not 100%, you don't want that, especially against this Quincy Notre Dame offense.
Back up top for QND. Olivia Dreyer will let it fly from distance. Knocked down by U-High in the box, and they did not allow a shot on goal there. Back to Dreyer. Gets around a defender and sends it backwards. Molly Penn out wide right. This is Aaron Barnes. Had 2 goals in the state semis. Sends a cross in for Madison Lindmeyer. Knocked away. Good defense again by U-High in the box. Kind of that bend, don't break defense that we've seen from the Pioneers throughout today, where they will allow those crosses, but they pack everybody in the middle and don't allow any shots once that first ball is put in.
It's a good defensive set to do because, again, like you mentioned, Nathan, there's no good shots coming from the outside because they're so congested. But the problem then was with that counterattack. They only had 2 Pioneers near midfield, 5 QND defenders, and you're not going to outrun all 5 of them. So some of those defensive midfielders hanging back inside the 18, you have to pressure and you have to support your offense.
A goal on a penalty kick, a goal on a deflection for QND, and U-High got an unassisted goal from Sarah Lafayette, one of the most prolific goal scorers in IHSA history. She got that on a breakaway. Down the far sideline, Mackenzie Foley won't win the race to that ball as it rolls out of bounds for a throw-in.
That's the difference between a turf field and a grass field that they'll play on. That grass field, she gets to that ball.
Throw in the corner for U-High. Foley heads it. Drops back down. Maddie Peters, then it's Dreyer. Shot punched in, well wide right for QND there. Probably doesn't even get marked down as a shot on goal on that one.
And Herman will place it up to the midfield. Sometimes the defenders will actually drop back and be outside on the top of the 18 and bottom of the 18. But the sweeper is nearly 20 yards from the goal, just looking for the Herman boot.
Moving forward, Heller to Lafayette. Tried to give and go, got deflected. Now fighting through. Here comes Lafayette into the box. Got a touch to it. Walker got a hand on it as she left her line, and then Lafayette couldn't win it. Very aggressive that time by the sophomore goalkeeper. Delaney Walker came off her line and gambled that she could get to that ball before Lafayette did.
Walker knew exactly who was coming at her, Lafayette. If the ball drops at Lafayette's foot, she has such a great left foot that she could place that to either side of the goal. So the only decision for Walker was to come out, try to interrupt that shot. Even if you don't get a hand on it, at least it throws off Lafayette from her attack, and then maybe you can recover and get back to the goal in time.
2 of her 3 goals in the semifinal were either little flicks or chips over the goalie from very similar spots on the field. But Walker beat her to that ball, did not give her the chance to do the same this time around. And now QND tries to move it back across midfield. And they do. They'll send it down towards the box themselves, looking for Madison Lynn Meyer and Aaron Barnes. Barnes got a foot on it, then had nowhere else to go. Into the corner, Barnes lays it off. Cross could not come through, and they'll win another corner. Reminiscent of that span in the first half where QND had 3 corners in about a minute and a half, where they just kept chipping it in and getting it knocked right out of bounds, and they will try it again with Olivia Dreyer standing over the corner kick.
Most Lady Raiders are going to the back post.
That's where the ball goes. Keck got a foot on it. It's knocked away and cleared out. And here comes Lafayette to try to win it, but it's sent back in by Maddie Peters. Now across midfield and roll out of bounds.
UI's had more chances in the second half, too, as the ball deflects off the referee. And this is the opportunity they want to be in. Continue to put pressure on this defense and see if you can score. Now, the Lady Raiders are very good. They stay, again, packed inside on the defensive edge. But UI can take advantage.
QND pushing forward now. Madison Lynn Meyer with Foley and Barnes going towards the box, but Meyer loses it. Crockett battling for U-High. Dreyer gets a foot on it for the Lady Raiders, and now it's Meyer. Keck. Taylor Keck could not get around the defender there, and U-High keeps it alive through Hollingsworth, and then knocked out of bounds. We'll get subs for both teams.
Sometimes you almost forget you're watching high school soccer because both of these teams are so good, and I guess that's why they're here at the state championship, but there's none of the glaring mistakes. Both teams play well, and even after goals, they don't get deflated and defeated. They come back and keep putting the pressure on. The ball possession for both teams have been great, and the defense has been too.
Herman's free kick is won by Hannah Peters, and then she couldn't get it collected, but will win a throw-in. Keck gets the throw-in to Peters, trying to turn down the sideline. Cross is deflected out of bounds, and another corner kick coming for Quincy Notre Dame. They're searching for that third goal and to get a 2-goal lead.
And you just momentarily ago saw Coach Sefton telling her team, instructing the players on the bench as they rotate in and out, just to change up a little bit on the offensive side and how to attack.
Header is deflected, and that's going to be a goal kick. Nice ball in, but the goal kick.
Number 18, Alec Gordon.
And another sub. Our first of 3 class championships that'll all be decided here at Benedetti Worley Stadium, North Central College campus. The 2A and 3A are on the same weekend. 1A gets its weekend all to itself.
They do. They're probably so happy they get it all to themselves. They don't have to share with bigger teams that may have played throughout the year. I know the event staff doesn't mind either 4 games per day. That'll be a lot next weekend.
New Trier will be looking to repeat in 3A as they are still alive. All 4 of the teams that made it to state last year in 2A have been eliminated. First and second place still left in 3A in New Trier and Collinsville. There's a shot in from distance, and Herman's got it. Why not? You know you got a backup goalie out there. Test her. They did there, and she was up to it.
You have to wonder, too, how much experience Herman got at practice in the goalkeeper, because when you're a starter in the midfield, every practice you're likely practicing with the midfielders. You're not sharing time at the goalkeeper position as well. She probably has a background goalkeeping at some level, but I can't imagine this year she spent a lot of time at practice in the box because they need her in the midfield practicing, because soccer is one of those sports that everyone has to be in sync with each other. Sometimes just one different player in the midfield can throw off an entire scheme of passing, understanding where players will go, what they do with the ball, where they like to pass, what type of runs they like to make. Do they like the ball pass to the right foot, the left foot, in space, or to them? So many different things that now they can't do with Herman in goalie, but she's looked very comfortable there, so obviously she's played there before.
Lafayette was trying to win that ball, could not get to it. Knocked backwards, all the way back, and U-High will move forward again through Alec Eisenreich. Lucy Stella standing right next to Lafayette, not giving her any space.
Good step.
And she's calling for the ball and couldn't get any open space at all. Tricino wins the header, and then Dreyer drilled her with it, and we're going to get a stoppage as that hit her, I believe, right in the face. And right in front of the official, and he is going to stop the clock. Take a look here at Tricino. She won the header. It dropped to Dreyer, who volleyed it. She's trying to say she's okay, but he's going to make her leave. We talked about the head injuries earlier. Let's look again at this time. She wins the header here, but it falls right to Dreyer.
And there's nothing she can do. She just turns around, too, not even expecting it. Oh, you feel for her. I mean, it's a nice day outside, but anytime that ball hits you, it's just awful.
She's going to get a drink of water and probably try to go right back in the game. They'll have the athletic trainer have a look.
Meredith Haller. And for the Lady Raiders of Notre Dame, number 13.
And although she tried pleading with him, let me stay in, and in the heat of the moment, you don't think about those concussions, etc. So that's why it's up to the referees. They have kind of that role to send players off if they think maybe there could be a concussion.
They had Anatoly leave earlier after she banged heads with a QND player. They lost their goalie, Sophie Dorgan, to a hand injury on Quincy Notre Dame's second goal as she hit her hand against that post. Now down the sideline. Sent back near midfield.
Quincy Notre Dame has a lot of attackers. There are 9 of their players are on the left side of midfield, and that just sets up more of that prolific offense, and it forces the Pioneers to drop into defense, which is what they're doing in the box.
Into the box, contact, and no call. He immediately signaled, get up. As Foley tried to get a foot on that and then went down, and ball sent out near midfield. Now on the attack again is QND.
She tried settling but knocks it out of bounds. And this Quincy Notre Dame team, they're so good at ball possession that's why I don't like Herman just punting that ball away, or what she'll do here, kick it into the midfield, because then it becomes a 50-50 ball. And these Notre Dame players, they're so good at attacking. They're attacking the ball, whereas U-High, they're trying to take the ball with them in a sense, because they want to go the opposite direction.
Ball is won by QND. Keck has it knocked away. That's going to be another corner kick. Substitution coming up for the Lady Raiders here. The corner kick coming up from the left side. Taylor Keck will take the corner from here. Dreyer's been taking them from the other side. Sieber's right in the middle. That's where it's headed, and it's in. I believe that was Foley that got a head on that ball. Number 23, Meredith Siebers, was standing in front, but I believe it was Foley who came running in. They got it. Yep, she's looking for the high five from her keeper, Delaney Walker, and what a corner kick. Let's take a look at it, Tom, as Keck sends it in perfectly.
Textbook corner kick. It drops into the middle of the zone, and all you want is a deflection. A great attack, too, from the top. Gets the forehead down. We talked about that earlier, and Foley puts it right into the right corner.
Molly Penn was there at the far post. If that ball didn't go in, Penn was going to attack it and knock it back in, but it did not come out. Foley's got another one. That's 2 today. There was question whether she had 2 in the semis or 1. There's no doubt about today. She's got 2.
That's why it was such a good corner kick, because when it falls in the 6 to players' feet, there's so many shin guards and feet and knees, something that it can deflect off of. And Foley understood that. She comes down with the head. I'm glad she used the head too and not the foot, because it could have deflected away. Get the top of the head on it, put it in the back of the net.
We have the officials talking on the near sideline right now. Our middle referee, Michael Lichtfuss, ran over and was talking with the linesman, Mario Castillo. And now he's going to run back over to the middle, so not sure what that discussion was about. But there's the whistle blown to restart play. And it's 3-1. This linesman was taking some verbal abuse towards the end of the first half. That you heard an announcement at halftime about throwing things and yelling at the officials, and it was directed at this linesman on the near sideline. And I wonder if something happened again that got his attention there as that 3rd goal scored. So 3-1. As we go on to the 26-minute mark, Mackenzie Foley given credit for that 3rd goal, but it last touched off of a U-High defender on that back line who was trying to clear it, but it was deflected off the head of Foley towards that far post, got a U-High defender and settled into the back of the net.
There's a reason as a defense you place players at those post positions just for that case. When a ball's coming, you have to deflect it. But because it was so far deep in the 6 and Foley hit it so well, there was really no time to react or make a good, clean kick.
Well, and as you talked about, too, how often this year, and you and I don't know the answer to this question, but how often this year has Julia Herman been standing in the middle of the goal defending corner kicks in practice, because she is their backup goalie with Sophie Dorgan on the bench with the right hand injury. Communication on those kinds of plays from the goalie is so key.
You're exactly right. Telling the defenders where to go, and it's the goalie's job too to assign players. You assign your tallest defenders with the tallest attackers, and you're constantly numbering that out, and that can be new for someone who hasn't been in goal very long. And the key too now for this Pioneer offense is, will it change at all? Now with under 25 minutes remaining in the game, down by 2 goals too. Will they change the offense, or will they stop going with 5-6 defenders on defense, maybe pushing 1 or 2 of them into an attacking midfield role just to get more on the offensive side? Because every time they clear it, there's only 1 or 2 Pioneers around midfield. They need to get more players up, especially down 2.
Here's Lafayette fighting through. And it's sent in and grabbed by Walker. She's been challenged a few times today and did let in the 1 goal, but she's been up to the other task. Has come off her line a couple times to win races to the ball, and on shots like that, the sophomore holding her own. Lafayette now gingerly jogging back. She was down for a minute by the end line, and she's still, and now she's picking up her pace a little bit. There she is. She was down for a minute there, Tom, and for a while there wasn't a defender within 15 yards of her because she was gingerly jogging back. So hopefully she's okay. A senior, no matter what happens over the next 23 minutes, playing her final game in high school. She'll go on to Illinois State. On the attack here, the Lady Raiders pushing it in, looking for Peters. Didn't get to her. Another chance. Madison Lynn Meyer knocked away out of bounds. A throw in, last touch by Meyer over on that far sideline. So it'll be a U-High throw in and a couple of subs coming in.
The Pioneers need some speed, and they need to use it on the outside to generate some of these clears and then work the ball outside, because if you want to play a good stout defense, Quincy Notre Dame is just staying all on the inside because you're taking away that free space, and that's what they're doing ahead by 2. So for U-High, work the ball to the outsides and see if you can then feed Lafayette in the middle. That's why we saw Lafayette pulling so far to the right side, nearly a right midfielder position, because she just had to get outside in open space.
Lafayette sends it back to the middle of the field. They've got it again, moving forward. Lafayette trying to fight her way through. She does get possession in the box, turns, did not get much on that at all. She was falling down and it'll roll out for a goal kick. What effort for her, though, to win that ball and get any kind of shot. And it was deflected and will go out as a corner kick. And you can see her breathing hard. That was a lot of effort to win that ball right there. And now she's got to find a little bit more to go after this corner kick, and a golden opportunity for the Pioneers to get back into this match. Tricino sends it in. Into the middle, it falls. They could not get a shot there. They'll punch it back in towards the box. And now Madison L. Meyer will come win it. They've got it.
I like them changing fields. It was a 3-on-5 advantage, and nothing was working toward the middle as the Pioneers collapsed inside. So work the ball to the outside, try and get a set piece in from the corners. That's exactly what they'll get here. That's how Quincy Notre Dame has scored most of their goals. They throw it in from the side, and whether it's a handball, a deflection, something like that, the ball finds the back of the net.
Taking the corner kick will be number 7.
Hannah Peters is going to go out and take the corner kick. Dreyer's been taking the corner kicks from that side, but she's not on the field at the moment with one of their recent subs. She sends it in here, and it's cleared out. And it's going to roll towards the sideline, and it'll be a throw-in for the Lady Raiders. 3-1 Q&D leads. You're watching IHSA Class 1A Soccer on CSN Chicago.
The IHSA is achievement, focus, creativity, spirit, champions. The future plays here, the Illinois High School Association.
Welcome back to Benedetti Worley Stadium on the campus of North Central College in Naperville. Nathan Beleva and Tom Pryor with you about halfway through the second half. Now exactly halfway through the second half, and Quincy Notre Dame in the 1A state championship match has a 3-1 lead on Normal U High.
And this is the time when it's not crunch time or pressure time for U-High where you become out of character to force the offense, but there have to be a couple more offensive players just generating some chances because, yes, Lafayette is good, but if they only get 2 more shots this game, they're not going to put both of those in. You need to generate a lot of shots, 5-10 shots before this game's over, and in order to do that, they have to mix the ball a bit on the offensive side.
Get a little bit of luck off a deflection as Q&D did in the first half for their second goal. The right side throw in for the Lady Raiders. Bounces into the box. Brought down. Sent to the top of the 18 for Stokes. She's double teamed. Pokes it back. Now they send it into the box. Herman comes out, plays it, and the ricochet is back in. And now Q&D leads 4-1. And they get their second goal of the second half after they had 2 in the first half as well. Ball was sent in. Herman decided to play it with their foot, kicked it out, and it was sent right back in by Foley. Let's take a look.
With the left foot and then just deflected in. Foley.
Yep, Foley had it.
And she hit it so firm, too. I'm surprised she kept it with pace on the ground, didn't hit it wide. Herman just trying to clear the ball. Foley in the right place because she attacked. She was waiting for the bounce back and puts it in, and that's a huge goal, a 3-goal differential, hard to make up in less than 19 minutes.
She's got the hat trick, and you're right, that might be all she wrote for this one, 4-1. that 3-goal lead. They get the cushion. What I saw in the state semis, though, QND is not going to sit back and just park the bus and wait for the clock to run out. They kept scoring and scoring and scoring on IC Catholic until that total reached 9 in the semifinal game, a state record in goals. And, well, I don't expect that they're going to reach 9 in this. They're also not going to sit back and not take any more shots and just settle for a 4-1 win. They'll keep playing their style, as Coach Longo told you at halftime.
You're right, and in the third place game, even today, a 3-0 advantage dissipated, before we even knew that the game was over.
Yeah,
and that can happen.
That was a wild third place game. IC Catholic had a 3-0 lead at halftime. Johnsburg took a 4-3 lead in the second half, and IC Catholic scores with 8.9 seconds left on a chip from outside the 18, and they went straight to penalty kicks. No overtime in a third place game, so straight to penalty kicks, and Johnsburg prevailed, so they got the third place trophy, their highest finish in girls soccer. That third place trophy to take home, and IC Catholic with the fourth place, and these teams settling first and second here over the next 17 minutes and change.
What doesn't get talked about often for the Lady Raiders is their defense. Because they outscore teams so much, you talk about the offense. I mean, they're setting records offensively, but on the defensive side, they've been so good. They haven't allowed any player to get into open space freely. They play together, and the defense doesn't get a lot of credit because you get shocked by the 9-0, the 6-0, and you think, well, the offense must have had the ball the entire time. Defense was never tested. This Quincy Notre Dame defense has been tested in today's game, and to only have allowed 1 goal to the star-studded Lafayette, that's a huge credit to this team, knowing that we have a star-studded offense. If we just score 2 to 3 goals, we're likely going to win because our defense is so good. That's a good place to be sitting.
4-1 lead for Quincy Notre Dame, now with 16.5 minutes left as both teams made substitutions. Rolls past Madison Lindmeyer, is knocked towards the sideline and then punched back towards the middle of the field. Foley, who's got a hat trick, knocked it away momentarily for QND, but now it's Uhai again. Tricino sends it towards the top of the 18, intercepted. Foley settles, far right side to Madison Lindmeyer, and it's knocked out of bounds by Uhai, and a throw in for QND. Mark Longo looking for his 4th state title as head coach. Joe Moreau of St. Charles won 5 straight, 96 through 2000.
Into the game for Notre Dame will be number 8, Taylor Keck.
What stood out from Coach Longo, too, at halftime was, yes, he was disappointed in the pace of play, the energy level, but he was calm. It was like just any other regular season game, no outward expression of totally frustrated. He was calm. He knew the changes that this team needed to make. They've made them, and they could have put a couple more goals in the back of the net.
They've got it moving forward here. Sent back. Jim Burnside of Notre has won 6 titles. That's the IHSA state record, and they've won 3 in a row, and they're still alive in 3A. You see Coach Longo there. Notre is still alive in 3A. They could be looking for that 4-peat. Those seniors could win 4 in a row in 3A. They took care of St. Charles East in 2014. Won again in 15 and won 4-0 in the state title game over Collinsville right here at North Central College last year.
And I can't even begin to describe how rare that is at a high school level because of so much turnover, graduation. Yeah. It's a different players every year, and they're still able to replicate the success, and then the rarity, too, of getting to a state championship because, all these teams have been playing close games essentially since the sectionals, and to win every one of them and to do it 3-4 years in a row is unfathomable.
Uhai with a free kick here. So he's got 6. Joe Moreau won 5, and Mark Longo's in a tie with a few others, including Chad Kuchar, who won back-to-back state titles with Rochester the last 2 years. They've been eliminated at the sectional level this year in 2A. He's got 3, and a few others throughout history with 3 as well, and Longo looking to get into that 4 state title category for girls soccer, and as we mentioned earlier, he was the first IHSA coach to 500 wins. Did that in the regionals, and looking for 506, which he is 13 minutes and change away from winning. And we've got a whistle behind the play. Offsides is the call there.
Assistant coach George McDonald for the Lady Raiders, too, just finished his 30th year at Quincy, Notre Dame. So you see all of the success that he's been through. It's incredible.
Free kick sent forward. Yeah, he started last year 20 wins ahead of Coach Burnside from Notre, and then Notre won a state title last year, closed the gap a little bit, but this year they're both over 20 wins and staying right there neck and neck. Poked away by QND and sent out of bounds. Those are the 2 active winning coaches at the top of that list. Jay Lipe of Chatham-Glenwood's right up there too. He was the assistant coach for the boys team when I played at Chatham-Glenwood with the linesman on the far sideline, Paul Marconi, who was a year ahead of us, and he was a fantastic soccer player in the midfield for the then Glenwood Redskins. Coach Lipe then was the boys assistant to Tom Johnson. Now he's the head coach of the boys and girls. He's won a couple state titles as well. Unfortunately, the Glenwood now Titans lost in the sectional final earlier this week to Troy Triad.
Olivia Dreyer,
I say unfortunately from a personal perspective.
Of course. You always
on the air,
for that.
we don't care, of course, who we're seeing, but
number 6. Molly Day returns to the game.
throw in on the far sideline after a couple of subs.
Well, Nathan, what stands out to me is, as you mentioned it, you're here today, the line judge, and so many of these assistant coaches who either played or have been at QND, they want to return, and they want to be drawn back to the sport that they loved when they were in high school. So you think, how many of these young ladies are going to return to coaching at a later day, maybe refereeing? They stay within the game because they love it so much.
Yeah, and you see that too at so many of these schools where it is that way, where you have a program with a long-time coach and assistant coach, and you get some of those players that come back in different capacities and still follow the team. And both of these programs, Quincy Notre Dame and U-High, and we'll see it next week in 2A and 3A at some of those programs as well, which is really cool. And we saw it in the semifinals as well, where you get those guys and ladies on the coaching side that are moving around. They're alums. They've been involved with the program. You got older brothers and sisters who play different sports at these schools as well. When we got that list from the coaches last week, and some of them listed off 5, 6, 7 players whose brothers had played basketball or baseball or soccer, or their sisters had played and won a state title or accomplished something very cool at the school. It's nice to get those notes and see how much the school pride means to these coaches and the players as well.
And you know that a lot of those people who've had that state experience, they're telling these kids, this may be your first time in a state championship game, but I've been there before. Maybe not in soccer, but a different sport. And here's the mentality going into that type of game. And trust me, these players carry it over and take that advice to heart. And then when they're on the field, you just play till the buzzer sounds. And right now, Quincy Notre Dame with that 3-goal lead. U-High hasn't pushed a lot, and it may be because they're out of gas. Maybe they just don't know how to attack this QND defense, but they're trying to force that pressure, but Quincy Notre Dame just continues to clear the ball.
Trying to push through here.
And the key with the 3-goal lead, too, is that for Quincy Notre Dame, you're not worried about possession anymore, so you can clear it out of bounds just to kill time if you want. So these defenders no longer have to worry about clearing it by finding a midfielder. Instead, just boot it as far as you can. That'll take precious seconds off the clock. If it goes out of bounds, who cares? U-High has to run it down and throw it in.
Kamatar sideline and nutmegged her defender, but it rolled right out of balance. There was nobody else there to help out, and we're going to get another wave of subs, 3 in for QND and 1 for U-High.
It's common to see these substitutions late in the game, especially under 10 minutes remaining. It gets a little bit of a breather for the players, some type of refreshing sound from the incoming players, and it also provides the head coaches opportunities to talk to those players and say, this is what I want for the next 8 minutes. Now, take a breather, get a drink of water. 1 more minute, you're going back into the game. Tell the team this.
Back into the box, looking for Foley, who's already got a hat trick. Look at the state title game record for goals scored, and she matches that record. Nikki Wisnaski of Alton Marquette in 2011 also had a title game hat trick. Nobody in any class, according to this record book's, ever had 4 in a title game. There are 6 other hat tricks listed, but no other 4-goal games in a state championship match. Shannon Foley of QND did have a 4-goal game, but not in the championship game. And of course, that is Mackenzie's sister. Shannon and Cassidy both were All-State. She's the 3rd Foley sister to be All-State at QND. Shannon in 11 and 12, Cassidy in 12, 13 and 14, and Mackenzie Foley this year. So her sister scored 4 goals in the 2012 semifinal win over Richmond Burton. Then they went on and won that state title over Mantino 3-0. And now she scored 3 in a state title game. So the Foley sisters have got some hat tricks to compare.
They
Hopefully
do.
This one's over, and Mackenzie will have 7 minutes left to see if she can get her 4th.
And those back-to-back titles in 2012 and 2013. So all of these sisters trying to take home some of that hardware, metal to wear around your neck.
Yeah, Shannon and Cassidy all won 3. Mackenzie's trying to get 1. On the sideline, down the sideline, sprinting forward. Still going with it, and the shot in, and that is into the back of the net. U-High gets their 2nd goal of the game, and it's Sarah Lafayette again. How much speed does she have coming down the left side? Broken to the middle, and no doubt about that one. Not much celebration from U-High as they're down 2 with 6:22 to go, but gave them a chance here over the last 6 minutes as Sarah Lafayette gets her 68th goal of the year.
Well, nobody's going to catch her in the open field, and I love the composure she had just to tap it to the right side of the goal instead of try to kick it hard or be flustered because the goalie was pressuring her. She just calmly hit it to the side where she knew Walker wasn't going to be and gets it in the back of the net. And then obviously no celebration, but there is reason to celebrate for her because that was a fantastic attack and then finish. And we'll see if she gets the ball at her foot a couple more times in open space, she's able to put them on frame and in the back of the net.
6:22 left on that goal.
And we saw in the 3rd place game, as soon as Johnsburg scored their first goal, it was that momentum. All of a sudden, everyone just kept attacking, and you feel it a little bit from the Pioneers. Now that it's just 2 goals, plenty of time to put that offense on and score.
Pushing forward here and trying to get the ball to Lafayette. It's knocked away back near midfield. And it'll be a throw-in coming up. And we've got a violation here, which I'll give it to QND. (4-2), the lead with 5:20 to go. We got a whistle and a substitution coming in for the Lady Raiders.
And the Lady Raiders will take their time here. Now, you don't do it deliberately, but you do it to a point where you make sure everyone's organized before you throw the ball in from the side, because often when you're trying to throw the ball in from the side, you try and hurry up. Well, the Lady Raiders won't do it here. They'll wait until their players are settled.
A foul called against QND, sets up U-High, sent into the box, looking for Lafayette, couldn't get it to her. Barnes tries to turn and head upfield, and she loses it out of bounds. Lucy Stella, who's marked Lafayette most of the game, just subbed back in. She was not on her when that second goal came Now she's back in, another throw in. 4.5 to go. U-High scrambling. Trying to throw the ball forward and see if they can make something happen. Sent into the box. QND trying to clear it. They've been crisp with their passes out of the back so far today, and at this point, they're just looking to chuck it out. Lafayette gets free. Oh, that hit the post. So close to a hat trick in a 1-goal game with 4 minutes to play.
I couldn't believe it. I thought that was in for sure. Didn't think it was high enough to hit.
She got free, got the perfect bounce off the turf, and fired it with the left, and she had Walker beat. Let's take a look at this one.
That's how you can tell she's a Division I player, because as soon as she gets it, she hits it so firm and off the post. Oh. The deflating feeling she must have felt. She struck it perfectly, just too far outside.
She got the perfect bounce, too. She shielded off the defender, got it to fall right where she wanted it on her left foot, hits the post with 4 minutes left. They chip it in here. Walker knocks it down and then holds off. Kamatar ran into her. And QND will try to run some clock here as they get it to midfield with 3 minutes left to go. Barnes seals off a defender and holds onto it. Sideline. They try to push forward again. And a whistle and a foul is called. Kamatar with the throw in. They send it forward. And a foul is called. Lafayette thought she was going to sprint in there and have just one to beat. But she got called for a foul. And could not believe it. Neither could the U-High faithful. It's off to the right of the press box. They thought they had a breakaway opportunity.
Machine K. Meyer just got tangled up a bit, but that's what happens when this defense is putting somebody on Lafayette. They're not letting Lafayette go anywhere. K. Meyer right now is sticking to her.
Substitution coming in. 2 minutes to go. QND can play that clock wasting game if they can get the ball now. Ball bounces away and U-High loses it, and they will indeed be able to play that game right now. Kind of hold on to it as a throw in for a while and just let that clock tick down. Lafayette's 1-on-4 if she can get to this ball against Madison K. Meyer, and it's out of bounds off Lafayette. Now to run some more clock, QND will make a sub. You always sub for the person that's the farthest away
yes,
from the field as well. So it's Barnes coming out. And that throw-in comes in with 1:10 left. A little gamesmanship, and Alex Eisenreich sends it forward to Lafayette. She turns and moves forward with it, sends it for U-High. QND intercepts. Back near across midfield. And now it's Foley. She's got the hat trick. With 45 seconds left.
An unbelievable season for both of these teams to be able to come to the state championship. What stood out, obviously, Quincy Notre Dame, their possession in the midfield and then putting enough shots on frame. U-High did it with Lafayette, a great player, but they just didn't generate enough of that offense to get enough shots on goal to get them in the back of the net. Quincy Notre Dame did. Both defense today were outstanding, though.
Last 15 seconds of this one, a hat trick for Mackenzie Foley. She's going to join two older sisters as state champions in the Quincy Notre Dame program. Mark Longo's got his 4th of the decade as it's sent into Walker, and QND wins 4-2. They're Class 1A state champions in IHSA 2010, 2012, 2013, and now 2017 as well for the Lady Raiders of QND, a 4-2 win over Normal U-High. They celebrate on the middle of the field. Their slogan all year long, as they have had it for the season, has been the simple 4 letters of RSKA. It has finished off every single huddle they've done all year. Coach Longo telling us it has many different interpretations, but it's always a source of pride, as they say it at the end of practice. And they're going to have a big huddle right now as state champions and give out their loudest RSKA chant of 2017. QND 4, U-High 2. Back with more from North Central College on Class 1A IHSA Girls Soccer after the break on CSN Chicago.
The IHSA is achievement, focus, creativity, spirit, champions. The future plays here, the Illinois High School Association.
Today's IHSA Girls Soccer Championships are brought to you by Country Financial. At Country Financial, we understand that helping you means knowing you. Take charge of owning your future with Country Financial. Call your local rep at 1-866-COUNTRY or visit ownyourfuture.com. Welcome back to North Central College, Benedetti Worley Stadium, the site of the Class 1A Girls Soccer State Championship. Quincy Notre Dame beating Normal U-High 4-2 as they got 3 goals from number 2, Mackenzie Foley. 1 in the first half, 2 in the second half. They also got a first half penalty kick from Olivia Dreyer. Sarah Lafayette scored in both goals for U-High. She hit the post with 4 minutes left in what could have made this a 4-3 game and given us a possibly very frenetic finish. But it hit the post, did not go in. QND holds on for their 4th state title. Tom, let's take a look at these stats overall. Fouls were pretty even, 7-6, but shots and shots on goal, QND doubled up U-High.
Yes, for the shots on goal especially, that's what I look at. Just not enough offensive pressure from the Pioneers today, and especially the accuracy of Quincy Notre Dame. The shots on goal, 8 to put 4 of them in, pretty impressive. And then just overall, the possession definitely in Quincy Notre Dame's favor compared to U-High.
Doubled them up 8-4 in shots on goal. Doubled them up in total shots 14-7. Fouls 7-6, and QND dominated corner kicks wise as well. They were all over on that. 1 yellow card in this game, 6 goals. QND wins 4-2.
Head coach Haley Sefton. Assistant coach Tiffany Masters. Manager Evie Riddell. Manager Meadows Randolph. Number 0, Cindy Lightly. Double 0, Sophie Dorgan. Number 1, Cassie Trocino. Number 2, Elise Crockett. Number 3, Julia Herman. Number 4, Kirsten Personat. Number 5, Sarah Lafayette. Number 6, Molly Day. Number 7, Abby Klein. Number 8, Emma Norian. Number 9, Alex Eisenreich. Number 10, Elena Hollingsworth. Lelanda Brower, number 11. Number 12, Daisy Carabias. Number 13, Edvika Kavatar. Number 14, Celeste Norian. Number 15, Grace Rich. Number 16, Meredith Heller. Number 17, Adyok Andari. Number 18, Ella Gordon. 19, Lindsay Baker. Number 20, Robin Furio. 21, Aubrey Oyker. And 23, Lauren Dubravik. And number 25, Anna Dooley. Principal of Quincy Notre Dame High School, Principal Mark McDowell. The trainer, Jay Zinger. Head coach, Mark Longo. Assistant coach, Jason Keller. 00, Miley Van Dyke. Number 0, Delaney Walker. Number 1, Maddie Peters. Mackenzie Furley. Number 3, Beth Eversman. Number 4, Sierra Sturhan. Number 5, Madison Lynn Meyer. Number 6, Isabella Anderson. Number 7, Hannah Peters. Number 8, Taylor Keck. Number 9, Olivia Dreyer. Number 10, McKenna Little. Number 11, Lucy Stella. Number 12, Maggie McHale. Number 13, Morgan Evans. Number 14, Madison K. Meyer. Number 15, Caitlin Nelson. Number 16, Maddie Dickerman. Number 17, Anna Stokes. Number 19, Aaron Barnes. Number 21, Hannah Wyman. Number 22, Molly Penn. Number 23, Meredith Siebers. Number 25, Bree Kirk. At this time, will Coach Sefton and captains from U-High please step forward to receive the second place trophy. Will Coach Blango and captains from Quincy Notre Dame High School please step forward to receive the 2017 first place trophy. Congratulations, girls, on a great season.
Tom's going to head downstairs, see if he can grab some interviews for us as the Lady Raiders celebrate their 4th state title from 2010 as they knock off Normal U-High 4-2. And we'll throw it downstairs to Tom with those interviews here on CSN Chicago.
Coach, at the beginning of the season, every team wants to win a state championship. Only one team can do it. Yours just did. How's that feel?
Oh, it's a great feeling. The kids all year long have put the time and effort in that they need to do to make us better. And all year long, they've worked hard, listened, although I don't think they listened very well in the first half. Second half was much better. But my hat's off to them. I'm very proud of them.
Mackenzie, a hat trick tonight, but your team never let up. You continue playing strong. Your team did. How excited are you about their performance?
I'm so excited. I mean, I think everyone played well, especially in the second half, and we just worked all year for this. This was our goal the whole entire season, and I think we proved ourselves. We proved ourselves in this tournament. We proved ourselves in regular season, and I think we deserve this.
And Coach, one more for you. You have a good group of seniors this season, and how happy are you and proud of them that they're going to leave at the top of the mountain?
Well, it's great for them. They did a great job, not only on the field at practice, but being leaders for us. And captains are supposed to be leaders, and they certainly did that all year long.
Well, congratulations, Coach, on the victory. And Mackenzie, when I talked to some of your teammates yesterday, they said, we're just so excited. We probably won't sleep tonight because we want to play tonight's game. Well, the reality is a state championship. Is it better than the dream?
It definitely is all that it definitely is all that it lives up to be. I mean, it's just amazing. I can't even talk right now. I'm just so happy. But we definitely worked hard for this. We definitely earned this, and we're gonna stay up all night celebrating. So I'm just excited to be with my team all night.
Well, you deserve it. Congratulations on the state championship.
Thank you so much,
Nathan.
Thank you, Tom, as the Q&D Lady Raiders celebrate another state title, their fourth since 2010, and the fourth for head coach Mark Longo. Quincy, Notre Dame, our first of 3 girls soccer state championships to be crowned here on CSN Chicago over the next couple of weeks. They beat Normal U High 4-2. For my partner, Tom Pryor, for our producer, Kelly Eichhorst, and our entire crew from Play On Sports, I'm Nathan Buiva. Thanks for watching Girls IHSA Soccer on CSN Chicago.